In a couple of days we are finally scheduled to go up onto the local boatyard over there to get hauled out and hopefully fix our problems. But before that we have one slight problem, and that is this ice here in the harbor. Because there is now enough ice in here that I don't think we can actually get out into the open sea, or at least it would be quite hard. We would be able to go straight forward in this kind of ice, but in order to be able to get out of here we need to back out and do a 360-degree turn and then a bunch of maneuvering to get out of this tight spot, and I don't think it's just happening right now. So yeah, luckily enough, in a day tomorrow or day over tomorrow the weather should turn and we should be getting some wind and warm temperatures again. So hopefully the ice will disappear. So currently some of our through hulls are also blocked because of the ice. Some of the outlets are just above the waterline, and for example our sink in the heads is currently blocked, so we can't use it. So it would be nice to get that unfrozen as well. We've been trying to hack the ice with like a pole and an ice axe and so on. We might try a heater next, but currently it's very much blocked. The harbors only really freeze during long, calm periods, so we needed a good bit of wind to get rid of the ice. And we got exactly what we asked for. Alright, it's windy again. What a surprise. You know, I could be making videos of us being stuck in a harbor and it being really windy outside. I could make videos like that all the time. But, you know, I think it might get a little repetitive. It's just windy here like all the time. Even after northern Norway, we've been a little bit surprised on how windy it gets and how often it gets windy. You know, now if it's weather like this, it's blowing maybe 20 meters per second, a little bit less, so around 35-40 knots. With this kind of weather we don't really even flinch anymore, it's just so common. And there is no weather warning out right now, even though, you know, I would say it's decently windy. You know, roads are closed and yeah, I guess that's just Iceland for us tourists. When it's coming from the north, it's a little bit problematic for us because we are getting a little bit pushed against pier, and our stanchions are in danger of kind of getting pushed against the hull, or maybe even getting trapped underneath pier, because when there's a big gust, both the boats are going to heel, and then the stanchions get pushed there, even though we have plenty of big fenders around. So yeah, we just have to deal with it, and we have some ropes run to the other side of the boat that are pulling us away from Bir, and so far it's working fine. Time to go and get the boat hauled out. Just need to get the snow off the windows and get the mooring lines off. We've been trying to take them off for the last half an hour already. Everything is a little bit frozen. Just getting the mooring lines off is a little bit of a pain. With the wind pushing us, getting out of our tight spot in the harbor was a bit complicated. We decided to turn Arctica using our dock lines before taking off with the engines. We were headed for the boatyard because, as many of you know, our boat's propeller shafts have been leaking seawater into the boat for a while already. Even if you are less versed with boats, you are probably familiar with one of the most important rules of boating. Keep the seawater out of the boat at all times. Now we'd get hauled out of the water to find the root cause of the problem and hopefully fix it for good. We are here and they are gonna put us inside that hole, and now we just need to get the rig off. And usually I make everything ready before the mast crane arrives, because it's just that's how you make friends with those guys. You don't want to start doing this stuff, loosening things and so on when the crane is waiting. But this guy with the crane he's an hour early, so it's not my fault that he has to wait. However, I have already made sure a couple days before, I made sure that all of the turnbuckles turn, and I've looped them up so that I'm, at least I know that they are not stuck. So that's nice, because otherwise it's a little bit stressful to have like people waiting for you when you are trying to solve some problem. The reason for putting the mast down is that Arctica wouldn't otherwise fit inside the hall. The boatyard simply refuses to work outside during the winter, and I can't blame them for that at all. Not only is it too cold to work properly, but they've also had a boat topple over in the wind. So the mast is down, and we only lost the VHF antenna, so I would call that acceptable losses so far. Hauling out the boat here in the winter is a little bit different, because they had to prepare the pier, they had to plow the snow and put some sand on it, and now we are ready to go.
I just calculated that I think this is the 9th time during 2 years that we have lifted one boat or another up.
Yeah. We've spent a lot of time at the boatyard. Onko se edes lähellä, että se sopii? It doesn't fit. It's not even close to fitting. And I don't know how hard it is to get those off. The wind generators were too high to fit inside, but we managed to take them off somewhat easily. We had several centimeters to spare. No problem. Once inside, it didn't take many hours to get both of the prop shafts out. Let's go into the workshop. An obvious fault was immediately visible. The surfaces where the lip seals sit were badly scored, and this was more than likely the reason for the leaks. Yeah, the shafts are a little bit worn out here, right?
Yeah, this is never gonna be okay.
So right now we have rented an apartment that we are staying in for a week or two, and we also stayed at our friend's boat in Bir for a while, and this process up until now has taken 1.5 weeks, mostly because they had to order the blanks for the new prop shafts and we had to wait for them for a couple of days, but luckily they had the right materials and right size here in Iceland, because it could have taken even longer. The good thing about this boatyard as well is that, you know, it's fishing boat oriented, and the fishing boats, each moment that they are not out on the sea, they are basically losing money, so they need to, you know, get finished with the fishing boats fast, and they are quite used to working pretty quickly here, and they don't charge us anything for Arctica being inside the hall. They don't charge like anything per day, which is a pretty good incentive for the boatyard as well to work as fast as possible, because Arctica is a decent sized boat already, and we are taking up a lot of space here inside, and I know that they have other boats waiting after us to get inside, so we are not paying anything per day, and they want to finish as quickly as possible, so far it's been very efficient. These here are what I'm working on right now. They are the sacrificial anodes or the zincs for the propeller, and the old ones were basically gone, and we don't have like really good replacement zincs. You know, we don't have those big ones that would go over the nut on the propeller as well, and the yard didn't have anything like that. We don't have like spares, and we are going into water soon, so I'm just fabricating something. These small pieces I found here in the boat, and I'm going to enlarge these holes just a little bit, and then I'm gonna make threads in the holes with you know, I have this big set of tools to make threads, and then we are, you know, I'm gonna make threads here so that the bolt will have good electrical contact with this. You know, you can't just make a big hole and then put the bolt through, because there will be no good contact, so you need to make threads. So once I've made the threads here, then you can attach this to the prop shaft. There she is in the water. Actually, the original plan was that the boat would be in water after the weekend, so in 3 days. But now they suddenly decided they can do it today after all, and it was so quick that I didn't really have the time to film the final steps, and also I wasn't even here when they actually put her into the water. But now I just need to prepare for the mast to be put up again, and also I'm of course going to run the engines and see if the system works right now. I've greased the roller bearings and now I'm running the engines in gear just to make sure that everything is all right. And so far it seems fine. And here are the oil containers for the stern tubes, and I'm monitoring the oil level here. So I've marked where we started at, and I've ran the engines now for about an hour, and we are still at the same level, so that is good. And you know, now these oil containers are further up. They used to be down in the engine room, but the further up they are, the more oil pressure we have inside of the stern tubes. So now theoretically, if the seals in the back start leaking, then the oil should be trickling out slowly, but no water should be getting in. And you know, we are gonna be getting and changing these to an environmentally friendly stern tube oil, the same stuff that the ships use, because this system is the same kind of a system that you see on big ships, and they are nowadays required to use you know, environmentally biodegradable oil. Everyone used to use just normal motor oil, and also in this boat, in the instructions, it actually says just use the same oil as you use for your engine. But we are gonna be using something better. Now let's go up. We are gonna take the mast up. In Finland, where I'm from, we are quite used to taking the masts up and down, because most of the people put the mast down each autumn. And you know, I used to work at a sailing club, and we had like 20 boats and so on. So I've done this many times. So when you are putting your mast up and down, I usually want to have like the crane operator and then 2 or 3 people, and then the people on board the boat, or the people who are manipulating the mast, there should be one person manipulating or handling the forestay, if you have a furler. So the furler drum and foil and the forestay, then there should be one person at the mast foot. And then especially when putting the mast up, I like to have one person just kind of managing the operation and kind of having an overview and looking at the halyards and the stays and making sure they don't snag onto anything and so on. And one person, when you put the mast up, one person needs to be handling the foil and the furler drum, because you have to be careful that you don't bend the foil, and it's actually quite hard to, it can be quite annoying to handle. So you know, you need to keep it straight, and sometimes, you know, you need to walk maybe on the pier in a large circle away from the mast to keep it straight, and so that it doesn't drag on the ground. Or sometimes, you know, you might want to let the furler drum actually go into the water, so that it can, you know, so that the furler foil can stay straight. So that's what we did. And then when the mast is kind of in position, when it's fully up and kind of in position, I usually like to attach the furler first, and then after that start with the other things. So I used this maintenance break to her advantage and went to visit Finland to catch up on work and family. So after I finished rigging the mast, I did some solo docking to move Arctica back next to Birre. This has now almost become our regular mooring, but we really hope that the leak is finally solved, and while we've enjoyed our time here in Siglufjordur, we look forward to some real sailing and anchoring now. Thanks for sticking with us all this time, and special thanks to our patrons for the continued support. It really helps out a lot. If you want to support the creation of these videos, you can join our virtual crew on Patreon. The link is down below in the description. Patrons get access to a live boat tracker and our own group chat and a few other things, but these videos here on YouTube will always stay free for all to watch. Thanks for watching and see you all next time. Bye bye.